Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Unstoppable Show, and I am Jennifer Hardy. So today I have the beautiful Jenn Robbins join me today. How are you doing, Jenn?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am really good, thank you. I'm excited to chat to you today about what you're doing, what you're up to. So basically, what you do is, or one of the a million things that you probably do as an entrepreneur, because I know what it's I know what it's like, but you push down a little bit and you help coaches, consultants, and creatives make more money and build thriving businesses with copy that converts. Which I honestly believe that copy is probably one of the most important parts of your business as a whole. So yeah, tell me a little bit about how you got into doing this and doing what you do now.
So how I got into it is kind of funny. I actually have a background in accounting. I received an accounting degree and ended up working in tax accounting for a few years. And I realized that life's too short to do something that you hate. And so I literally quit my job and decided to become a writer. And through the process of kind of writing different things, I got into copywriting, which led me into conversion copywriting. So honestly, I got into it by making a decision that I wanted to be a writer. And then, like I said, started learning different kinds of writing. And I discovered that conversion copywriting especially kind of combines my business background with my love of writing. And so I'm able to help people kind of narrow in on their business. I'm helping them build their business while also writing copy for them that's going to convert their audience into paying clients or customers.
I absolutely love it. So tell me, because I probably know the answer to this question, but in your own opinion, how important is it to have good copywriting?
Honestly, I think it's one of or the most important thing you need to invest in your business, whether that's hiring a copywriter or taking a course and learning how to do it yourself. Because let's say you have a beautiful website. If you take the copy away, nobody's going to buy from you. I mean, you could have, I know a lot of coaches who work with just a Google Doc that has some great copy in it. So as much as I love beautiful design, copy is what's really going to sell people. It's what explains what you do. It explains, because at the end of the day, what people want to know is how you're going to change their life, even if that's just through some amazing headshots, or maybe it is money mindset coaching, whatever it is, they want to know how you're going to help them. And copy explains that. It explains who you are and how you're going to get them to a better place in their life.
Yeah, that is it. Wrapped up in a couple of sentences. You've nailed it. That's what it is. Okay, so take me back a little bit then when you were a little bit younger. Have you always wanted to have your own business? Or was there other things that you were interested in before as well?
So from the time I was a little girl, I wanted to be a doctor who wrote like books on the side, because doctors have so much free time, right? But yeah, so I've always kind of had like a two-track mind of like wanting to be a doctor and do writing. And so I got to university and realized that I really didn't want to be a doctor after all, because chemistry was just terrible. And that's when I had to decide if I wanted to do writing as something, like as a major. But I'm a very type A person. And so practically I've been told my whole life that, well, writers don't make money. So that's why I ended up going with accounting, because I mean, nothing's certain but death and taxes, right? So I assumed I would always have a job. But as I got into it, I realized that that's not what I wanted to be doing. And so writing was what I wanted to do. I just didn't know what that would look like for me. I mean, ideally I would write a novel someday. I think we all have a book in us somewhere. But copywriting to me I don't know, it encompassed everything. And I'm so glad I was able to kind of fumble my way into it.
Definitely. And tell me, who is your kind of favorite, if you can say, kind of people to work with? Do they have that real mixture of kind of creativity, or are they, some sort of more, yes, entrepreneurs and small businesses, but are they more kind of corporate? What's your favorite stuff to write about and copyright about?
They're probably a little more creative. I work with a lot of, I initially started working with more like accountants, more of that kind of corporate world, because it was my transition into this copywriting world. And since then, I really love working with women especially, but coaches, photographers, people who are helping make other women's lives better, whether that's through like life coaching, money coaching, like I said, taking beautiful headshots, or even just helping them design beautiful homes. I love helping women live better lives. And the way I do that is usually working with coaches who help them get there.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about some of the lessons that you've learned as you've gone, because I know that you've just went through a beautiful rebrand as well, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
yeah.
Well, for one thing, what was the reason behind the rebrand? Did it just feel more aligned, the brand that you're operating under now? And what has been some of the lessons that you've learned along your way as a business owner and entrepreneur?
Yeah, so when I started my business 7 years ago, I honestly didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I'd read a few books before I quit my job, but I just kind of leapt into it. And I could have spent a long time working on a name for my business, and I wanted to just kind of do it. To me, done is better than perfect all the time. So I picked J Bryant Creative because at the time that was my last name. I hadn't gotten married yet, and it just kind of seemed broad enough for what I wanted to do. But 7 years in, it wasn't my last name anymore. I kept it as a middle name, but it never felt totally right. And so, and I think it was August of this year, I kind of realized, oh, I could just go by Jenn Robbins and like have kind of more of a personal brand. And it felt so much more aligned with who I wanted to do, like who I wanted to work with and the business I wanted to create. Because I didn't, I know you asked this and I didn't quite hit on it. I didn't really grow up wanting to run my own business. It's something that I've kind of grown into. And so I felt like this was the step of growing into who I'm going to be in the next decade or more, of going with Jenn Robbins. And it can potentially become more than just copywriting. It could become a whole other, I can have all other options down the road. And one of my dreams is I live in a zero stoplight town. I want to have a co-working space here. And so that can kind of come under the umbrella of my personal brand. So I felt like J Bryant Creative was kind of limiting. Like you said, it didn't feel aligned to me at all.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, and some of the lessons that you have learned along your journey so far, what have some of those been? Because it's not plain sailing. I think it's important, and I do speak about this often. You know, people get to see that finished product and the beautiful copy and the websites and the lovely glossy images. But there's times that you really want to throw in the towel. It's certainly been that way for me. So what are some of the lessons that you've learned as you've went along?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first couple of years were a disaster for the most part. I was still learning what I was doing. And to be honest, I looked at everybody else as competition. That was probably my biggest mistake. I was kind of afraid of putting myself out there because I was afraid people would call me out for being an imposter, because I mean, I was just kind of getting my feet wet. So I wasn't totally sure what I was doing. So I was afraid of working with other people, of connecting. And so I actually kind of failed. So about 2 years in, I had a couple of retainer clients who took everything I did for them and they hired inside people. So it wasn't that I was doing a bad job, but they hired employees and I didn't want to be an employee. So I ended up actually going and getting a full-time job again in accounting. And I did that for a couple of years and did my business on the side. And during those 2 years, I tried to decide, this is actually what I wanted to be doing. Did I want to become a copywriter and build this business? And so I spent 2 years kind of thinking about that, building clients on the side, and left. So I spent 2 years doing that corporate job and doing on the side, and then prepared myself to take the leap. So I was much more prepared that second time. And I started reaching out to people and networking, and I joined masterminds, and I didn't look at everybody as competition. I looked at us as a community. And so I was able to turn to other copywriters, and that's how I've grown my business. I haven't done a lot of marketing over the years. It's all been referral based. So I think my biggest lesson was stop looking at people as competition, build community, build relationships, and that's how you're going to grow your business.
And that's what you've done, and it's worked massively. Excellent. So you mentioned something called a zero stoplight town there, and maybe in Scotland, I have got no idea what that actually means. So give us a little bit of insight. So obviously, you work with clients all over the world, don't you?
I do, yes. I work with clients all over the world. I'm always trying to figure out what time zone I'm in or I'm talking to. I have a call next week with somebody who is in HST, which I guess is Hawaii time, and I've never worked with somebody there. So yeah, I live in a zero stoplight town. So in the US, we most places have like stoplights, like major intersections that so what I pictured is in the US, we usually have them like hanging over like a big intersection. We have like massive highways and interstates here. It's very different from like the UK and Europe when I was over there. But here, most places have those. Well, I live in a town that's small enough. We don't have any stoplights. We have stop signs, but we had one stoplight that was a flashing red light, which just means like there's a four-way stop there because it was a highway. Well, a tractor knocked it down like a year ago and they've never replaced it. So that's the kind of place that I live.
So Wi-Fi wise, because I go places like in Europe and the Wi-Fi is shocking. And if we were to go literally 10 minutes away from where I am right now, there's no Wi-Fi like at all. in the kind of countryside. So you must be doing pretty well on the Wi-Fi front.
Yeah, it's not bad. So it's a very small town, but it's only about 20 to 30 minutes outside of Oklahoma City, which is the capital of our state.
Yeah.
So it's close enough that we're able to get pretty good Wi-Fi. There are parts of our state that are much more rural, and you're not able to get good Wi-Fi, if at all. So I'm lucky that we get the small town experience, but I'm close enough that I can get that Wi-Fi and, you know, go in for sushi or something other than like pizza.
Yeah. So the people that are from your town as well, are they really kind of pleased, proud? Are they a lot of them creatives and entrepreneurs as well, or are they farming? And I've got a lot of people that are up my way as well, which are into the kind of farming industry and stuff. So yeah, are they like you, or are you a little bit different?
No, no, there's most people, I even think my husband isn't quite sure what I do. Most people have no idea. So yeah, most people here, it's farming. There's a lot of oil and gas here. So there's a lot of like drilling. So yeah, it's a pretty small community. People like commute into Oklahoma City, and so they'll work, like there's banks, but yeah, there are some people, I shouldn't say that. I know there are a couple of like website designers here, but we're few and far between in this town.
And it's amazing, isn't it, how even though you have been brought up in that way with the people round about you doing completely different jobs, that you still had this dream, that vision that you were going to hit the globe as opposed to just a small section of people. So it's awesome. So as well, as you were talking through there, what would you say are some of the things that you want to go on and achieve now as well? Is travel something that's big for you? Do you want to make more money in your business? What are the things that are next lined up for you?
I love traveling. I haven't had a chance. I have a 2.5-year-old little girl, so I haven't done much traveling in the past few years. It was definitely a priority for me earlier in life. I've been to Europe. Spent some time in Italy and Greece and France, and a little bit of time in the UK. I've visited South America, Brazil especially. But that's something that hasn't been a priority in recent years, but I would love to do it again. My husband and I's 5-year anniversary is coming up next year, so I'd love for us to go to Jamaica or somewhere fun. But another priority for me is to pay down some debt. I have some credit card debt from college, and build up a more secure financial foundation for my business. So that's definitely a priority for me, is continuing to grow and eventually buy some land here in our town and have some space for my kiddo to maybe get a horse and have like that small town farming feel.
Fantastic. I love it. Something else that when obviously we were putting this together and going to have you on the show, something else that popped out to me was the word woo within your farm.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to talk about woo, because even although I am probably one of the most woo people that a lot of people get to meet, it doesn't really come across my brand or anything like that, but it is really important to me, and I know that it's really important to you too, and it has affected your life and business. Can you talk a little bit about that for me?
Yeah, so if you asked me a year ago, I probably would have told you woo is silly. I know I was doing this like membership program with somebody, and they started talking about mindset and how that should be like a focus. And I was like, okay, I'm out. I cannot deal with this. This is silly. And then towards the end of 2017, I started reading more books, kind of getting into it a little bit more, and realized how much how much your mindset and kind of the woo does affect you. Yeah. So I started reading a lot more books. I bought some crystals. I'm like reading Lunar Abundance, learning about how like the lunar cycles affect you. So I've kind of gone all in on it. And I mean, I've seen huge shifts in my business from that in my life, and especially my business. My business has doubled in 2018 from previous years. So I can't say that it's 100% mindset and woo, but that's definitely a part of it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel exactly the same. The more I actually connect to source, if you like, and the more that I do practice with more of my spirituality, the more aligned I feel, the more in flow I feel, and the more successful my business becomes. And it's funny because when you get there, when you are feeling really in flow and success, you think, oh, I don't have to do those other things anymore, like do a little bit of meditation or, because everything's good. And then you hit a rock and you're like, oh, why am I not doing all the things that got me to this point? It's really, people, and I'm like, what, are you doing any meditation? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, that worked before, didn't it? And they're like, yes. I'm like, well, let's go back and add some more of that in so that you can elevate again. So yeah, it definitely does have a massive impact in your life in every way. And for me, gives me much more patience. Much more patience.
Absolutely.
Stop trying to run at a million miles per hour. I'm much more patient with my children. I've got 3 kids as well. So yeah, I have to practice. Or yeah, I would probably be a little bit more of a angry person with my kids drawing the wall than what I am now when it happens.
Yes, absolutely.
So that it's been a pleasure to speak to you. I'm really excited about what you do. I think it's so needed. Everyone should have a copywriter in their business, in my opinion. So if you're at that stage now where you're looking to scale things up, then a copywriter should be on your list, near, if not at the top. So where can we find you online, Jen?
You can find me on my website at jennrobbins.com. That's Jen with 2 N's and Robbins with 2 B's. And I'm at the Jenn Robbins, all of the places, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me everywhere.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. And I take it that when people are reaching out or looking to maybe chat with you, that you maybe give them a free consultation or something like that so they can get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. I usually do a 15 to 30 minute kind of strategy session where we can talk about what your needs are. I know some people just need help with their website, or they're trying to develop like an evergreen sales funnel to get people coming in every single day. So yeah, I get on phone calls with them. We do Zoom chats and figure out what exactly they need help with and what their first step is going to be with working with a copywriter.
Amazing. Excellent, excellent. So guys listening out there, take some action. If you scroll down a little bit, you will actually see all of Jen's info below. And if you want to find out a little bit about Unstoppable and what we do as well, just a little bit further down than that, you will find our information too. But thank you so much again, Jenn, for being a part of the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, again, for joining us, for listening in. I appreciate you all, and please keep on sharing this movement. It really means the world to us. Thank you from the Unstoppable Show, and I will speak to you all real soon. Bye.